Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Friday, October 18th, 2024. And while we usually call this Friday Night Disclosure, we've got something better, folks. So hold on to your hats, get ready as we come to talk about UFOs and whistleblowers and new insiders from the UAP TF. It's set to be one heck of a great Friday for everybody. On that note, I want to go ahead and welcome everybody into Disclosure Tonight, including Mocha here. Come here, Mocha. Come on up. Come say hi. Come on. Get up here. Oh, you want a cookie, girl? There you go. That's my Mocha. Yeah, I'll get you more cookies in a second. On that note, let's go ahead and welcome in our audience, see who the heck we have out there. Because remember, this is an audience participation show. How about that? Let's take a look. Let's start up the band and see who we have out in the audience tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look and there we go. See who's out there. Well, we've got Eddie Fink Floyd is out there. Firefly's here, along with Frankenstein, Kathy King Bull, Kelly Brotnos, piercing blue eyes. I'm looking at you, looking at me, Kelly. Neil Morgan's here. Paul Damon, maybe Brock's out there in Bothell. Reality Check VIPs around, along with Stephen Forbes Jr. and watching vids. How about that? The chat's small, but the audience is building. You have 82 people out there already. Remember, if you haven't subscribed yet, you haven't given us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, about interaction, my friends. The more interaction we get, the more YouTube is going to share this program with all of our friends out there. On that note, it's that time of the night, friends, to go ahead and welcome in our back chat. Well, the first person we have out there alphabetically is Mr. Hollywood Harold. How's it going, Harold?
It's going pretty good tonight, Thomas. I'm just interested to see what we've got on this new player in the game, right?
Absolutely, my dear friend. Absolutely. Moving right along to our dear friend who headlined last week, and she's not alphabetically at the top of the list, but I want to welcome in our dear friend of ours and LM's. Let's welcome in Mrs. Laura Campbell. How's it going, Laura?
It's going great, Thomas. I'm excited for the night.
I'm excited to hear your updated remote viewing report. If you want to share anything with us today, it's going to be a doozy, I hear.
Yeah, it is. Let's see how much I can share.
Oh, as much as you can, my dear lady, as much as you can. Let's move right along to our friend. Turn the world upside down and look to Australia. We have our dear friend. I could say it's none of your business, but it actually is. Good evening, Susan Ford. How you doing?
Good evening, Thomas. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. She has got the dark Trump hat on. I love it with the flag and everything. Wow, look at the fireworks. Excellent. Oh, she is set to go. Thank you for coming out tonight, Nanya. Yeah, maybe Trump has a good way to make Australia better again as well. You never know.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, you need someone like that with your politicians you've got in office these days. That face says it all. Well, flipping the world back right side up and going down to Southern California because it's a place you ought to be. Let's welcome in our dear friend, Faze Will. How's it going, Will?
Hello. Happy Friday, Thomas. Good to see you. And
good to have you here, my friend. And I actually need
good to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for coming out, Will. Also, Will, back from the west coast to left coast to the right coast. Let's go ahead and say hello to our dear friend Tia Loreno. How's it going, Tia?
Hey, Tia.
Hey, Thomas. Happy Friday, man.
Happy Friday. Was it a good week for you too?
It was. I did have a pretty good week, actually.
Well, at least it was a good week for somebody. I baited you on that one. But thanks for coming out, Tia. I can't wait to hear what you and everybody else in the back has to say today, because we want to amp up the participation of our panel today. Oh, that's right, Mocha. Tia's here, and she's saying hello. On that note, let's turn
Mocha.
on. Come here, Mocha. Come on. Come say hi to Tia. Come on. Come here, Mocha. Get up here, girl. Come on. Get up here. Say hi to Tia. There you go. Good girl.
Hi, beautiful
Oh.
girl. I love
yeah.
her. She's so pretty.
She's such a... Too smart for her own good. Too smart for her own good. Well, we could almost say that about our vice president, but that's not the truth. Let's move on for that matter. On that note, well, who could be left but... Mike, Disclosure, how the hell are you?
I'm doing well. It's Friday night tonight. We have a lot of interesting things to cover for everybody. It's going to be new information that hasn't been out there before, and we're going to be the first to bring it to everybody.
Yes, yes, and yes. Nick, we're going to hold off because it's beyond audience panel participation time. We'll call on you in a little bit, but I want to get right into this one. As everybody has seen from our title card today, yes, there is a new UAPTF insider. Well, the program coming out this year, coming out soon, supposedly from James Fox, explores the growing bipartisan effort in Congress to uncover what U.S. intelligence agencies know about UFOs, or as we call them, unidentified aerial phenomena. I'll just call them UFOs for that matter. The film delves into recent groundbreaking public hearings that included testimony from military intelligence officers who claim there is an ongoing clandestine program to analyze materials of non-human biologics and crash recoveries from UFOs. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's turn off the back chat so it doesn't bother me. All right. James Fox's documentary features interviews with high-ranking whistleblowers, elected officials, offering candid insights into these hidden programs. The prominent figures such as David Grush, Christopher Mellon, and Tim Burchett provide eye-opening testimonies, potentially shifting the public perception of the UFO phenomena. The film's goal is to clearly expose the truth behind government secrecy. It's more like a cover-up, as Tim Burchett calls it, and address the possibility, address the reality that we are not alone in the universe. The documentary is expected to spark debate and could be a turning point for public and political awareness on the UFO topic. Fox's storytelling builds on the momentum of his previous works like The Phenomenon and The Moment of Contact, further advancing the conversation on UFO disclosure. The witnesses in this film give us insight from their perspective on what our government has been hiding from Congress and the public from decades. More, let's be clear, it's the executive branch who's hiding all of this, folks, I tell you. One example of that is from Lanaville Logan. Seen right here, Lanaville Logan, who is originally from England and spent over 20 years in the USAF, that's the United States Air Force, including over 15 years as a government contractor that included working in the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, also known as the UAPTF. He is seen here with his bosses at the UAPTF, Jay Stratton and Lou Elizondo. How about that? We've got the name of someone who's there. Boy, people are saying he looks familiar from Contact in the Desert. Mike, what are your thoughts on this? The guy sounds like we've got someone else coming forward besides the psychic at this point.
Right. And it seems like it's going to be somebody with direct knowledge and access to the UAP task force, which is not something that we had, well, other than David Grush. We really haven't had anybody else coming forward with that type of information. Now, this new insider, Lanaville Logan, he likes to be referred to as Logan, probably from all the time he was in the military. They go by last names. He's going to be in the new documentary with James Fox, so it's going to be a new voice in the narrative that James Fox's documentaries have been portraying all this time. And we're going to hear exactly what the government has been working to keep from the public and from Congress. So it's going to be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, well, it should be. Now, going to Lanaville's website he has out there, Lanaville says that for many years he's been interested in unexplained anomalous phenomena taking place around the world and has been looking for the better way to capture scientific evidence to better expose and understand the nature of UAPs, cryptozoology, paranormal sightings, and activities. Because, as a lot of people have said, it's all tied together. His goal is to move these subjects from the area of the fringe science into mainstream science via evidence. based practices. He is an active member of MUFON, the Scientific Coalition of UAP Studies, also known as SCU, the National Capital Area Skeptics in Washington, D.C. He's also an inventor, a co-founder, and the chief technology officer for a small startup called Phenom LLC, which has created Phenom, a citizen science crowdsourcing multifunction mobile app to support the public and scientific communities in reporting, identifying, and characterizing unusual phenomena, airborne or otherwise. Logan likes to spend his free time working on the Phenom app, tech foraging, I guess it'd be dumpster diving maybe, playing video games, and listening to science fiction and military audiobooks. And due to Lou Elizondo and Jay Stratton, Logan was able to support the UAPTF. How about that? It sounds like we've got someone who's new on the radar, Mike.
Oh, obviously. Well, not that new. The UAPTF is going back a ways, but this is
someone new that's come to light, is what I mean.
Publicly, this is somebody new that is come out publicly now, which is that's listen. Anytime we can get somebody new blood into this discussion and try to move things forward, that's always for the best, Thomas.
Yeah. Now, this is in addition. Recently, we've had Sarah Gam come out.
Yes.
She was also part of the UAPTF. She also has a good psychic business. If you want to figure out what's going on in your life and possibly talk to dead ones, she's a person to call.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm not going to laugh at that, because sometimes when you have the ability to communicate with things, dead people come to you whether you like it or not. Just saying, you're like a beacon of light. And apparently Sarah might be that kind of a person too.
It's very possible. I agree. So that's more information coming into the mix. I'm all for it, Thomas.
Oh gosh, it's turning into a ragtag group of individuals. It's sounding more like the A-Team at this point.
It is, but you know what? You and I have been talking privately that for the past year, this entire subject and conversation has been stone cold dead. Right. So now, all of a sudden, as we're winding the year down, we seem to be having a lot of activity popping up, which is, again, something that for the past almost 12 months, it's been very, very quiet. And we're going to have another UAP public hearing. We have the documentary coming out with this new individual in it and others. And it's going to move the conversation forward, which has been kind of in rested development for the past 12 months. So this is going to be good. And we also have the election going on as well.
We do, and you know what? Based on what we've been seeing from other people live streaming or people bringing up interviews in the area of disclosure, there is a shortage potentially coming of Grecian formula, Grecian 405. You never know.
Yeah, it could be. You're right. Especially as we all get older and time moves forward, and
you get new girlfriends that are half your age. Absolutely,
that's true. That doesn't hurt.
I think we're almost both in that category, Mike.
we actually are, Thomas. You're correct.
Yes, absolutely.
It keeps you young. What can I tell you?
Oh, I got you, friends. And just so everybody knows, Monday probably not going to have a show. I've got procedures going on, multiple ones. They're going on the quest to find G.I. Joe, Mike.
Yep.
The question, will they find it going up the rear or down the throat? I don't know, but G.I. Joe is in there somewhere.
Probably a little bit of both. But unless UFOs land by the White House again, like they did back in 52 or close to it, there won't be a show on Monday. But if there is some unexpected mass landing, we'll cover it. We'll be right there.
Oh, God, yeah, absolutely.
Call and blow or not, we will be on the job, right?
Splattercaster 2000 was going to be like, I tell you.
That's right. And we'll cover it live right here in high definition.
Oh, God, no. We're not going to have the bowl cam for that one, I tell you. No.
Oh, thank God for small miracles.
Oh, I know. Well, talking about, events that happen where UFOs recently happened. Remember that a couple of years ago we had that one sighting that happened over China? The airport had shut it down for hours.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I think it's time
There were
to
quite
actually...
a few of those.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, damn it. My modifications failed. It says donation instead of super chat, but I want to go ahead and thank really quick. How would you look at that? We had a super chat come in from the one and only Faze Will. Thank you very much, Faze Will. We appreciate your love and support of everything we do here at Disclosure Tonight. Remember that every dollar that comes into Disclosure Tonight goes back into our production fund, along with these festive Halloween colors that I got from resetting the app today. Oh, thank you very much. We appreciate your love and support. And yes, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much. We appreciate everything and everything that everybody does on that matter. On that note, I want to go ahead and get to video full guest. Let's go ahead and bring up this clip of the UFO that happened over China in the past. Let's go ahead and bring up this little clip and have some fun with it. Got some witness testimony, some other things going on with it. It's from the former YouTube site that was taken down, known as Eyes on Cinema, which means we can play without getting in trouble. So let's listen to this, folks. Here we go. Uh-oh.
Check your text while we're playing the video.
I definitely will. What the hell was that? Okay, here we go.
There was an unknown object seen in the skies over the airport, so according to our regulations, we had to close the airspace. Aircraft movements were suspended from 8:45 p.m. to 9:41 p.m.
Airport staff say the first reports of the UFO came in just after 8 p.m. from both air traffic controllers and civilians.
I
heard that some of the passengers whose flights just landed saw the object, which appeared as glowing lights. It was not a normal civil aviation flight. What it actually was, no one knows. During the hour in which airspace was closed, 6 flights were grounded and 12 inbound flights had to be diverted to nearby airports at Ningbo, Wuxi and Shanghai. In total, almost 1,000 passengers were inconvenienced by the closure.
More videos popping up on that one.
Yeah, that was loud, the audio on that.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Oh. It looks like we've got a troll in the chat, Mike.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah. Based on the text that I'm hearing,
a UFO in China's skies forced Zhoushan Airport to stop operations on July 7th. Outbound flights were grounded after the unidentified flying object was detected by a flight crew. The incident has captured the attention of Chinese media. For now, the UFO continues to be a mystery. A spokesman from China's Civil Aviation Administration confirmed to ABC News that the matter is under investigation.
How about that? So yes, UFOs happen, but apparently they're happening more in China, and they're actually getting better coverage than we're getting here in the United States. Are you surprised, Mike?
Not at all. Actually, if you remember, we had Francisco Guerrero, the the European Parliament. There was a hearing. He came on. We did the interview, you and I, with him.
Oh yeah.
He talked about during that Parliament hearing that in China, the government has standing orders for the military to shoot down any and all UAP in their airspace to protect national security and their citizens, which is interesting because we don't seem to have a similar policy here in the United States. I wonder why that is.
Oh, could it be our potential agreements with the non-human intelligence?
Could very well be.
Yeah.
China has no such issues, but it seems like we do.
Yeah, exactly.
So so it says a lot. So China is having this come out. Is it possible that if there is any foreign disclosure on UAP, that it might come from China first?
Well, potentially it could be coming from China first, and I wouldn't be surprised. The United States has been so hell-bent on keeping disclosure locked up that it actually opens the door for a country like China, Russia, or even Iran to disclose to the public about what's going on with UFOs, considering our deep state approach to locking everything up on it, Mike.
That's true. And now we're going to have another hearing coming up on November 13th. And I understand that they're going to be focusing on the secret program that recently came out from journalist Michael Schellenberger. The, immaculate
conception. Well, immaculate constipation. We want to go. They can say immaculate constellation, but it's immaculate constipation because they want to keep it hidden and keep it clogged up. But I say just get some X-Lax in there and let it flow.
Now, if you want to laugh on a funny note real quick, after you first coined that term, when that story broke, immaculate constipation, somebody that probably listens to the show decided to create a new Twitter account called Immaculate Constipation. And that person follows you and my account on Twitter. So it started here, and it seems to be now out and running from your creation. Good. Told you, I like that phrase. Everybody else does too.
Yeah, immaculate constipation or imminent constipation, they both kind of go together hand in hand.
They kind of do.
Yeah,
they absolutely do. So somebody took the ball and ran with it.
Yeah. Now, coming from the time you spent on Twitter that I don't have to make, or I don't have the opportunity to get in there and deal with, there was a post that came out from Richard Geldrich earlier this week. Let me go ahead and find this desktop document. Here we go. The below was a real post. It was deleted within 2 hours. Mike, you did a lot of research, and you actually found this person. Do you want to fill us in on the research, what this is that we're looking at, what it means, and what you found out about this person?
Well, it turns out that this was an account that was created that Richard Geldrich had discovered. And he was looking at the information that was put out, which is the diagrams that you have up on the screen right now. It shows that this person is describing advanced technology and principles behind it with the mathematics and the science to back it up. Richard Geldrich had submitted these documents to a couple of physicists that he knows, and they confirmed that this information is accurate.
But what kind of information isn't? It doesn't have something to do with quantum physics and stuff?
It has to do with what modern science has been wrestling with to establish that gravity is connected directly with the quantum mechanics and the quantum universe. It's quantizing gravity with gravitons using electromagnetism. That's something that science has been trying to establish, but has failed to make that connection. It seems this person is on the right track with the information he submitted. But this person and the account, the posts that they make are very ominous and cryptid because he tends to put a lot of warnings on the posts that are associated with this new technology and science that he's putting out there. But the caveat is that we fully understand how this technology works, but what's still holding us up, we don't have the material science to actually create it.
And that's the same thing that Lou Elizondo has been saying for the longest time. We understand how this stuff works, but we lack the material science because there's a couple things. One, this stuff is created in zero G. It's created under super high pressure, in addition to creating stuff on an atomic scale that we lack the ability. So we understand how this stuff works, but we have no way possible to actually go ahead and reproduce it, right?
That's correct. We don't have the material science necessary to be on an advanced atomic level to create new metamaterial that we would be able to utilize this type of technology,
right?
Even though we understand it.
Now, Richard Geldrich was able to go ahead and track this guy's. His name was Cosmic Jerry or something. What was his name again, Mike?
NASA Jerry.
NASA Jerry.
Name.
But
right.
apparently his name isn't NASA Jerry. Richard Geldrich tracked him down to someone by the name of Larry J. Reed.
Right.
And found all the original illustrations that went along with it. That's heck of it. That's super interesting to figure out that, hey, well, anytime you post an image up there, it's pretty easy with Google image search to go ahead and find out where that image came from. And that's exactly what Richard Geldrich did.
You could use Google search, or you could actually put it into ChatGPT, and it will help to identify the source and the origin. So, yeah, you could track down any type of documents or articles to go back to where it originally came from. So this person actually wrote a book that is still for sale on Twitter, on Amazon.
Amazon, right.
Right, and yeah, so it's on Amazon, and it was published in 2018. This person wrote this book, and the information in it is pretty damn accurate. But the other day, he made a post saying that he is worried that time is running out for the human race. And the reason he's putting this information out is because he wants people to be aware of what's going on, and that he is no longer going to be posting any more information on this account. And good luck to everyone. Good luck and goodbye.
What do you mean time is running out for the human race? What would you take that as? I know how I would take it, but how would you take it, Mike?
Something ominous, Thomas, something serious. But he didn't specify. See, that's why
something
I said,
somber, maybe?
Yeah, it could be somber. But
yeah,
everything that he puts out is not specific. It's vague. It has very heavy overtones, but he doesn't specify if or what the threat would be. Sounds familiar? We've run into that before, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
We have.
Yeah.
We absolutely have. It seems like a lot of people that may be in the know play it very close to the vest.
Yeah. Now, he does, NASA Jerry, when he did put the post up there, if I can go ahead and bring up the document again, here we go. He calls himself out as Jerry from NASA. He is a PhD NASA engineer and whistleblower. Joined Twitter in March in 2021. 209 following him with he's following with 2K followers, but would you look at that? Oh my God. He's actually followed by Larry. I didn't know Larry was still around. I thought he was chasing his Fetto fantasies.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's a small world after all.
Oh yeah. And it's not a LARP because the book actually that's out there is, let me bring it up, Quantum Wave Mechanics. It's a real book. It's really deep, and this is coming from someone that used to be like Peter Panda, who was actually, someone involved in this kind of stuff.
Right. That's correct.
Yeah.
But also very private, and seems like so was he.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Mike. In interesting times, to say the absolute least. As we get closer to the upcoming hearings, things are starting to heat up a bit, I think it's safe to say.
Well, it seems like there is a lot of new information that's coming into the conversation again, and it's long overdue. So it's nice for us to be able to cover it and see where it goes. There's new things coming out. Yeah.
Now, talking about all things UAP and UFOs, et cetera, let's get the Diddy stuff off the screen. Leave that for a different show, folks. All right, where are we at here? A man captured a UFO while he was trying to catch a shooting star on camera. Filmed with a Wise camera that was set up in his backyard in Avenel, California. Or is that Canada? I think that's CA. Probably California. We'll take that. The user claims to look nothing like a meteorite or a shooting star. Let's go ahead and bring this one up here. That's different. Let me go ahead and hit Downey on this. Let me bring this up in a better way to look at it. . Give me a second to get this video down. Oh, you got to be kidding me. You're not letting me download the video? Well, Twitter's not letting me download it, but let's go ahead and get into it again. One more time. So when it's going across, Mike, I don't think this looks like something that's on fire or anything. This just looks like some kind of a craft that's coming in, moving across the screen. Now, it's not moving too fast, but it doesn't look like any kind of a normal aerial object that we're used to, are we, Mike?
It's not a comet. It's not an asteroid. It's not on fire. It's not leaving a trail. No, this
it's not a
looks
plane.
Like right.
It's not a bird, a plane, or a frog. It's not Underdog either.
It's not Starlink. It's not the North Star. But it's something.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Interesting, to say the least. It's one of those things you're going through the Twitter feed, you look at it, you have to take it, put it to the side, and say, what the fuck was that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know
Let's
exactly
see
what
what
you
else we can get into here. Well, let's see if it lets me download this one. Oh, Twitter is being bitchy today. They've prevented downloading a video, so let's get into this. So, turning back to yesterday, a wedding videographer appears to capture an object flying rapidly in the Toledo night sky. This comes to us from a local Channel 13 news report. Let's go ahead and play this one and see where this report takes us. Let's jump into this. Desktop document. Oh. Shrink it down a little bit in size. Let me just fix this here, folks. Sorry about this. Other day. All right, shrink it down. All right, let's play this clip and see where it takes us. Here we go, minute 47. Not that one, hold on. Video full. Almost there. Here we go.
It's going viral. A local wedding.
Hold on. Your audio just cut out. My audio just cut out. And it's screwed up here. Let me take this into a different browser so you guys can hear it. Thank you, Safari. I appreciate that. Thank you for behaving with us. That's not it. Jesus Christ. Come on. Oh, it's this one, is it? Let me get into here directly.
A local.
See if I get my audio back again. 1 second, folks. Sorry.
Wedding.
Nope. It comes across and then it dies. So let me just go ahead and get this now that I have the proper link across to the Brave browser. Paste it here. All right. One more time. Sorry about that, everybody. Should come across now. Here we go.
Captured what appeared to be an unidentified flying object in the Toledo night sky, and it's stirring a lot of conversation online from TikTok to Facebook. Shay Rickard is a busy man this time of year, with fall weddings taking up much of his time.
It's blowing up on TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff.
But this time, a video he recorded with a drone while working as a videographer at a wedding near downtown Toledo is going viral.
So we shot all day long. We take the drone up at the end of the night and we're filming.
It wasn't until later on Rickard discovered he captured what appears to be an object moving rapidly in the sky.
I'm looking through footage, and the clip that gone viral is what I see that next morning, and I don't know what it is, so I posted online. Everybody's freaking out over it.
Rickard initially sent the video to his assistant, Ray Garrett.
I get a video sent to me, and I called him immediately, and we had a pretty lengthy conversation about all the possibilities of what it could be or could not be. So
I just have to say, it zooms in, then perfectly pans across to show the object. Granted, we're in a portrait view. Maybe this is just some editing that was done to show it, but let's just play some more.
The speculation is running wild.
There were several people who claimed to see it. Some, you know, they think it's just an airplane or something of that nature. To me, I really don't know what it is. I mean, it's interesting to say the least.
But many are asking if the video is AI or previously edited. Rickard says no.
This is straight out the camera. We didn't have time that night to do any edits. I mean, this was filmed at 7:54 p.m. We left there at 9 something at night. There's no AI, no edits to this. Plus, it's peak wedding season. I ain't got time to, you know, do that stuff.
And
you know what it comes down to, Mike, on this one is whether or not he can go ahead and actually deliver the content on that, the original footage, because that would be the most powerful way to look at it, Mike.
Well, that would be the best way to authenticate it, Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, did you see when the object was first spotted, it was moving one direction?
Yeah.
And it seems like it turned 90 degrees and sped off. But what caught my eye was there was like a trail when it started to move at a high speed. Usually UAP, they don't leave contrails.
That's
So
not
I
even a
thought that was
contrail. That's just something like it's stretching out the light that's going around with it. But yeah, usually when a UAP, at least the footage that I've seen coming out of
and we're filming
daylight cams, when you're looking at this kind of stuff, you don't see the trail going behind it. And even some of the stuff that I've seen where you've had really good footage of, what do you want to call it? Cigar-shaped craft. They'll have a little bit of a wisp going behind it, but not something that is that long going along with it. Harold, do you have your hand up on this one?
Yeah, what kind of reminded me of that is like sparkly, like stardust or something kind of trail behind it, right?
Right. But it's just one of those things that usually when we're seeing UFOs, you're not seeing that long tail. So this is something that's definitely different. It's something that's got a big question mark on it. But what it could be is unidentified at this point.
That's the key term, unidentified.
Yeah.
It is interesting. We don't quite know what it is, but it's not natural.
Not natural. Good way to look at it, Mike. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and see what other kind of stuff here. I've got my list of things to talk about in tonight's show. Yeah, it's been one of those weeks, my friends. What was that? Well, remember how we called the next session of Congress and the UFO hearings that are going to be covering up, calling it a lame duck session?
Yes. And
well, shortly thereafter, a couple days, we had D.D. Johnson coming up with something he's calling a congressional reality check. Now, following, as he's saying, following the November 5th federal election, Congress will convene in a lame duck meetings for some weeks, with the 118th Congress from 2023 to 2024 formally ending at noon Eastern Standard Time on January 3rd, 2025. If one relied on the commentaries of some UFO-focused podcasters and writers and some large accounts on this platform, one might get the impression that UFOs have been a widespread and acute concern with the current Congress. It's not. In reality, only a very small number of members in each legislative body have been visibly active, and even their activity has been episodic. You know, here's an exhibit entered into the evidence. Today, the Republican majority in the Oversight and Accountability Committee of the U.S. House of Representatives published a retrospective on the committee's work during the entire 2023 to 2024 Congress, titled 118th Congress Accomplishments. The 72-page booklet contained not a single reference to UFOs or UAPs by name, or to the July 26, 2023 Oversight Subcommittee hearing, at which retired intelligence officer David Grush testified, or to any briefings or investigations regarding UAPs. So as far as Congress's history is concerned, that never took place. The UAP subject is likewise invisible on the website controlled by the committee's Democratic minority, where UAP is not to be found on a list of 59 topics of concern that were awarded links. Now, this is not a criticism of the leadership or staff on either the majority or the minority side of the Oversight Committee. Rather, it's an observation of one indice of the ranking that UAP subject currently holds in the hierarchy of concerns that preoccupy most of the senior lawmakers of the two parties. Even with a congressional committee that is exercising oversight jurisdiction over the aspects of UAP, in which a second public hearing is planned during this lame duck session. So far, most lawmakers have not seen compelling, substantive, or political reasons to invest more of their energies in the subject or to use their platforms to draw more attention to it. So it's something that the UFO community is really tied in on, Mike. But it seems that there is a small, thin margin of people in the House of Representatives, and even the Senate for that matter, who are talking about it, but it isn't registering even a pulse, which means, is it even alive?
Yeah, that's true. It's a lame duck is right. And if what Dean Johnson is saying, it seems like they haven't had a really big focus this year on anything to do with UAP or disclosure. And until there's a new Congress after the election, and we don't know who's going to keep the seats and jobs or not in January, it's questionable as far as if anything can be expected to come out or change from now until next year.
Yeah. I guess we could call this a cover-up, Mike. Tim Burchett seems to be on target with this one.
Yeah. No, it's true, but it's also politics and business as usual in Washington, D.C. We're always going to have election cycles, and we're going to have lame duck sessions like the current presidency, administration, and Congress till the beginning of next year. That's just the way it is. But no one can realistically expect from now until the beginning of next year for any real change to take effect.
Yeah.
Nothing major is going to happen.
Nothing major is going to happen. Well, we do have more things happening now. With the story that we've heard last week with regards to the mysterious drone fleet that invaded a large military area in the United States, it's even getting covered as far away as Malaysia. It seems that story has legs and keeps on getting more and more coverage as time goes on. I just don't get it.
No, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, look, let's look at it from the other side of the coin real quick. Let's say it's a foreign adversary, okay? Mm-hmm. We have objects that are over a highly restricted military base near the capital of this country in Langley, Virginia. They seem to be working weeks on end with impunity. None of our countermeasures are effective. We are unable to identify it properly. And as a last resort, Langley Air Force Base had to evacuate their air wing to another base to avoid these objects. So does that sound to you like a matter of national security? It does to me.
Of course. And, there actually has been members of Congress who have come forward and are bringing forward legislation, Mike, to go ahead and try to change the laws that prevent our government from actually our military from going ahead and being able to shoot down drones that are over the bases. Doesn't that seem like an oxymoron that you have these top secret installations, right, with top secret military operations and things going on? Yet our military, if there are drones coming in, basically peeping Toms for that matter, coming in and watching what's going on in the bases, that our military doesn't even have the ability or the legal authority to shoot any of these craft down. That just doesn't make sense.
No, because if they enact that legislation, right, let's say, And we have another instance of a gigantic, white, slow-moving Chinese weather balloon over one of our most secure military installations. You mean to tell me they're not allowed to shoot it down? How ridiculous does that sound? Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense, because if there are things going on, the government is so
And welcome back. Now we want to go
worried about what's happening and what's happening over these bases. And we have this issue of national security, especially with people like Lou Elizondo and others saying national security before humanity, right? Why is it that if national security is so important, why would it be that they're not allowed to go ahead and shoot this stuff down without question?
Doesn't make any sense. Just like they're not saying it's UAP, they're saying it's an unknown object, but they're also trying to classify it, at least from the military, as a unknown aerial system, UAS. Right. So, but even if it is prosaic, which they're claiming, why haven't they sounded the alarm?
Mm-hmm.
Why haven't they said there's been an incursion from a foreign adversary that we can't prevent? Why are they not talking to every mainstream media outlet on the planet about this? They're not. It's like it never happened. It doesn't make sense, because if it is prosaic, it is a foreign adversary, it is somebody that's over our military installations in this country, why not sound the alarm?
They should.
They're not. Yeah, of course they should.
So no wonder why when drones were going over our nuclear missile silos, we weren't shooting them down, because the military didn't have the authority to shoot this stuff down. It just doesn't make sense. Well, then again, we're talking about two words that don't go together, Mike, when that includes military and intelligence.
Yeah, it's an oxymoron.
Oh,
my friend.
Absolutely. We have two people with their hands up. I believe Harold first, who just put his hand down. But Harold, did you have your hand up?
Go ahead. I lost my train of thought as usual.
Oh, that's okay. Susan Ford, you had your hand up, my dear lady. None of your business.
Yeah, what I take away from it when they say, "Oh, we couldn't shoot them down," it's like, oh, I think they tried to and they failed, so they can't say they failed. So they're going to say that they can't do it, like they can't.
Yeah,
they're not allowed to.
Yeah, that is a possibility. But if they do get the rights to be able to take this stuff down, get out your machine guns, get out your little missile launchers, get off your whatever it's going to take to take this stuff down, right?
Yeah, why I say that is because they obviously tried to use the the disruption that stops drones working. Now that would have brought it down.
They have it. It's called the GPS scrambler, Susan, and they're on military bases and military vessels. The Navy.
They tried that, but it didn't work. And
it failed. It failed.
So they have tried to bring it down.
And they couldn't.
Yeah.
So their last resort was to evacuate all of their mobile assets, like the fighter wing.
Yeah.
Right. And get those planes out of there.
They're not going to tell you that they failed.
Yeah. And we do have very expensive missile protection platforms that we've supplied to Israel that they're using on a regular basis in their Iron Dome. Why aren't we using that technology here to protect their own military assets? It just doesn't make sense. It's like, well, again, a lack of military intelligence.
Oh, exactly. But it's also a national security threat. And they like to sound the alarm every chance they get about national security, including covering the subject up with it. But now they're silent, completely silent. Not a peep, not a word.
Not a word for that matter.
No, nothing. It's like you said, like Burchett's famous phrase, they're covering it up.
It's a cover up.
Yeah.
Which we've been doing for too many years to count. Let's get to the bottom of the cover up for that matter. Let's burn those blankets and get rid of the cover-up, my friend. All right, what else do I have going on here? Well, George, turning our eyes back on the upcoming Senate elections, UFOs at the Nevada U.S. Senate debate. George Knapp asked Democrat Senator Jackie Rosen and Republican challenger Sam Brown if they support UFO transparency and whether Congress should create an investigative body outside of the DOD to conduct the research. Let's see what our friends who are running for Senate in Nevada have to go ahead and say about this one. Let's play this clip and see where it takes us. Here, let me get the volume back up. Here we go.
And welcome back. Now we want to go to a topic that was made famous right here in Southern Nevada. Our chief investigator, George Knapp, who many of you may know as the UFO reporter, has our question.
What's out there? There have been recent revelations of several government agencies looking into UAPs, more commonly known as UFOs. This is video of one of the most famous ones, the Tic Tac UFO. We don't know what that is, but it appears to be a matter of national security. The Pentagon says all of these instances can be easily explained. New UAP hearings are slated for both the House and the Senate. Do you support more UFO transparency, and should Congress create something independent of the Department of Defense to conduct the research?
So, Ms. Rosen, you'll have 1 minute here. Should Congress do its own independent investigation into UFOs?
Well, this is a topic that we have talked about. I sit in the Armed Services Committee, and we know that, as your video showed, Area 51 is here in Nevada, in the center of Nevada, and it's a top secret military site. I do think it's important that we do our independent investigation. Of course, in the Senate, we are responsible for oversight. We have committees in both houses. I do think it would be important to see what we're doing there and if there is any merit to this.
Mr. Brown, you have 1 moment here to respond. Should Congress do its own independent investigation into UFOs?
Well, I think I'm just as curious as anyone. I'd love to know what's going on. I never saw any sort of technology like that when I was in the service. I'm not sure I fully trust Congress, to be able to figure it out. Maybe Elon Musk can.
There you go. How about that? Mike, I think I get along with that guy because you know why? He's actually saying, I don't think we can trust Congress.
Right. That's a good point. Sounds a lot like Burchett. He says the same things about Congress, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
It's corrupt. It's cover-up. Can't trust them.
Yeah.
So this person seems to be tearing a page from Representative Burchett's book.
We'll learn about it on November.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely is. Well, turning our eyes back on the latest episode of Weaponized that came out earlier this week. I think it hit on Monday, didn't it, Mike? I think it did.
It did, yes.
So the House, this is Jeremy Corbell, talks about the House Oversight Committee and what information it could potentially include. Let's go ahead and bring this one up for our audience next. Oh, video full. Here we go. Short little 41-second clip. Let's play it.
If people's names aren't leaked, if information isn't leaked, the world will learn about it on November 13th. There is a way in which the world is 100% no stopping it going to learn about it on November 13th for the congressional hearings. Now, there's a dramatic way that can happen and an undramatic way. If anybody were to fuck with witnesses or us or anybody involved, it's going to be dramatic. And we don't want that. We want the information out. And if it's the dramatic way, then all of a sudden, other people coming forward too.
Well, there we go. It sounds like, is it me or is Jeremy these days, Mike, pushing more towards, or I could ask Nunya for this matter, do you think Jeremy these days, Nunya, is going more towards catastrophic disclosure, which people like Lou Elizondo and Christopher Mellon and Carl Nell don't want to have? Or do you think he's still going towards that slow drip? It sounds like he's amping it up a bit. What do you think?
I think he's responding to recently being threatened, and he's reacting, and he's just letting the people that have threatened him know don't push, or you know, what do they say? Fuck around and find out. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good account to follow on Twitter, my friend. Also, Tia Loreno, you have your hand up. Wait, before we get to Tia, was there anything else you wanted to say before? Or did you forget to put your hand down before? Oh, I got you. We're good.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Sorry.
Tia Loreno, you have your hand up, my dear lady.
Hello. So I've seen that China actually has a new aircraft that is that's like they're calling it like a mothership that is
for drones, right?
For drones to take out these drones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like they're able to use these drones in places like, I don't know, maybe the middle of the ocean. Maybe that's why they couldn't find a ship, like a boat where they thought it was going, because they were going.
Oh, you're talking about the stuff that happened in the Channel Islands off of California a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We can track where those craft are coming from and where they go back to. Remember, the U.S. government, the military-industrial complex, our intelligence community has the ability to track everything from sea level out to beyond the moon, the size of a grapefruit, I believe, or larger. So wherever those potential drones came from that we're going after, I believe it was the USS Russell. I could be wrong, but I think it was the USS Russell back at that time. They're going to say,
and our military installations here, it might be China doing it, and they not wanting to let China know that we know what they got.
Yeah. But some of those, even if they did have a mothership, that mothership is going to have to be, well, the border's been open for a while, and there's so many container ships and other ways to get stuff in here. So technically, if the Chinese did want to get equipment in the United States, they've got ways to make it happen.
Yeah, and I just seen somebody, Trump, on one of these podcasts, right? And you should have seen the look on his face when somebody was telling him about how China is buying up tons of farmland next to our most secret military bases. Yep. You should have seen the look on his face. Yep. Like I know that was like a doorbell ringing and a light bulb went off. I don't think he's ever been told just how deep it is. But you should definitely look at. I'll get it for you so you can look at his face, because it's telling. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Oh wow. Well, if there's anyone who's up in Manitoba, 7:35 p.m. local time. 7:35. Mike, not Mike, disclosure, but Michael Sokoloff, the man from the country where all the users silent. Apparently, they've got some aurora going off, and I know he says it's not, wrong one. Thomas video. Here we go. There is aurora inbound going on right now up in Manitoba. Believe it or not, I just wanted to throw that out there so anyone who might be in the area has a chance to get out there and look up. Like our title card says on so many times, you're not going to be able to see stuff unless you go outside and look up, for that matter. Harold, do you have your hand up, my friend?
Yes, Thomas. If you want to check your DM list or something, I've sent you a link to something I seen on the web earlier and stuff. I wanted your opinion on it.
Oh, give me a second here to find it. I
don't know whether to believe it or not.
This is the one you sent to me?
About the serious discussion that the DOD was having.
Oh, yeah, this is coming from that alien interview guy.
I don't know whether there's anything to it or not.
All right, here's what he says. I'm going to put this out there is sounding like someone from the bulk foods aisle. I heard a bunch of stuff from this guy, but I'm glad you're asking. There's a guy out there called the Alien Interview who supposedly has access to these really highly classified videos. He's talking about them, dumping screenshots. Harold, if you had a video that was so highly classified showing a non-human intelligence, right? And you started taking and dropping screenshots of that on social media and sharing it, Do you think possibly, let's see if I can find it here easily.
Well, I do kind of like the conclusions that he drew and stuff. There's like 4 or 5 bullet points there.
I know, but here's the question. If you had that kind of top secret information and you start dropping screenshots from it.
Well, a lot of stuff's been disappearing.
One more time.
lately.
That's the FBI, CIA, and others knocking on your door to come and haul your ass away and put you in prison for violating, what is it, the National Security Act, or is it the Espionage Act, Mike?
Probably both.
Both.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting, the conclusions that he drew and stuff about advanced surveillance or
I know,
something.
but it starts off with, I've just concluded a serious conversation with a current DoD official. Within the upper echelons of military and intelligence circles, there is a prevailing assessment that the UAP, also known as unidentified and aerial phenomena, and drone sightings observed over the past 4 years can constitute advanced reconnaissance operations. These activities are believed to be part of a pre-invasion battlefield preparation involving detailed mapping of strategic assets. Specifically, these reconnaissance missions are thought to be assessing 1, our military capabilities and tactics, 2, the nature of our weapon systems, 3, vulnerabilities in human biology, 4, the key natural resources for potential exploitation, and 5, strategic weak points for a possible full-scale incursion. Now, he goes on to say this warning comes from a highly credible source within our intelligence services. I thought he was just talking about the DoD, not intelligence community, who wants to disclose and is sending a warning to us. Don't ignore it. We were wrong before, and failure to act now could be catastrophic. By acting, he means preparing for the worst case. Sounds like he's a really good creative writer, taking a lot of the topics that are out there in the overall situation, and he's weaving a tale for people to go ahead.
Even if you just dreamt all this up, the conclusions that you come to, anyone should come to, right?
Yeah.
DoD should come to those conclusions on their own, even if these aren't their exact words, right?
Yeah. But going to his page, to his Twitter account.
That's why I said I don't like the way he's presenting it, but
who do we have on there? Oh, would you look at that? Jimmy Stewart, the former wrestler. This case is the official page for the pay-per-view online documentary, The Alien Interview Case Closed. Oh, this sounds like, what do you call them? People, Mike, a grifter?
An infomercial. Infomercial. Grifter,
yeah. Yeah. So,
we got a few. Jesse the Body Ventura from Minnesota. He was into that stuff for a while too, right?
Yeah, but have you seen him lately?
Hey, he's old. He's on his last legs.
Oh my God. Yeah, he looks scary. I mean, he really looks like scary.
A lot of those old wrestlers do, man, from all the things they put their body through all those years. So, yeah.
Oh, I know. I got to see if I can start. There's something I got to find here. Hold on. I know it's here somewhere. Yeah, it just reminds me of some of those people you're going to see, and it's just like, I just do that. Did I just get rid of Harold here? Yeah. We don't need to play that one. It's interesting to say the least. Trying to see what else we have going on here in the world of ancientology and UFOs and everything. Mike, a lot of interesting things going on in the research you've been going. Do you have some other stuff you'd like to bring up and cover?
Well, right off the top of my head, I would have to figure out something a little bit more specific. We've been covering and talking about many things. What's going on right now? Well, we have, the James Fox's The Program. It's coming out on the 24th of October this month.
So it's been announced. That's new.
Yeah, it's on Plex that you're able to see the full documentary on October 24th. it's going to be accessible. So that's
so they only got
next week.
distribution through Plex, not through Apple or Amazon or anything?
I don't know if the distribution through larger media platforms will come after it breaks, but it's supposed to be coming out.
That's going to be really difficult for James, because a lot of people already have their credit card information in for some of these on-demand services to have it to where you can't go to Amazon Prime, click, I want to watch it now. You go on Apple TV, you would click, I want to watch it now. They build a credit card you have on record, and boom, you're watching it. And to miss those two big venues is going to be very damaging to the potential for this work from James. I hope he gets it in there.
Yeah. You can open up the website for Plex for the program, and it'll tell you that it's going to be available on that website on October 24th.
I know, but I'm just laying out
that he should have bigger distribution.
Well, and not just bigger distribution. I'm just trying to lay out the landscape for online streaming, and if it's only going to be on Plex, then it's going to be limited in the reach that this could potentially have.
Oh, I would agree.
Plex is a pretty basic app on most smart TVs now, isn't it?
It is. It's one of the free apps,
But
Harold.
you have to put your credit card information into it, Harold. So it's just one of those things. I just hope. I just hope
they have a free version.
This doesn't. Oh wow. Yeah, this doesn't go ahead and hurt you on it. I really wish the best to James. He worked so hard on this. He's run into distribution after, was it 1091 Studios got bought out by Food for the Soul or someone like that?
Yes,
Chicken Soup
exactly.
for the Soul. And then everyone got screwed on distribution. So it left James there struggling with, oh shit, all the money I had coming in for my old productions has now been fucking cut off, and I've got to finish this movie to get it done.
Right. So he has been crowdsourcing and getting people that are going to put up and cover investors on this new production of his.
Yeah.
So it has to be a success. His career is literally on the line because he has to pay back the investors.
Yeah.
It has to make a profit. Otherwise, all the work that he's done on this, it's not going to pay off.
No, it's not.
No, it really isn't. And you and I, when he had those difficulties, we were talking about the distribution angle. You remember. You've dealt with that in the video game industry.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I have done injunctions where they've had to go ahead and pull the product off the shelves. Don't screw with someone. When you have a ironclad contract in the place, don't be afraid to go after the publisher who's screwing you, especially when it comes time for money. Again, my history in the video game industry predates any of the stuff I've had going on and being part of the disclosure movement. But the contracts we had back then protected both sides. More importantly, the NDAs, the MNDAs, the mutual non-disclosure agreements we had back then protected both sides of it. And that is just the biggest thing I don't get about anything within disclosures, Mike, is why is it so damn loosey-goosey within so many circles, and it's all based on a gentleman's hey bro agreement, right? Versus something that if you go ahead and do something wrong and you share the information, the people who you basically fucked have the ability to go after you and take all of your money, your house, your cars, and everything away in perpetuity.
Right.
It's missing.
Right. Well, the same thing is true when Congress goes to enact new legislation.
Yeah.
What is at the heart of every law in the land? Basic, simple contract law.
Yeah.
And what you just explained with your dealing in the video game industry back in the day, the most important protections were not of the product or the work put into it, but of the mutual NDA, the contract law behind it to protect it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's why the attorneys I have are the same ones that are used by Nintendo. You don't when you're dealing with legal rights and everything and people screwing you in the opportunity, you don't fuck around.
No.
Yeah.
And especially with something like this. But let's take a look at, speaking of NDAs, let's look at the previous NDAA. Wasn't most agencies within the United States forced to, by a certain deadline this year, release any of their files to the National Archives?
Yeah, that was supposed to be given to them by October something, 2024. But at the last minute, they went and they extended it a year out.
Right.
And talking about NDA, the National Defense Authorization Act, if you go back at least 2 years to the first time we had the NDAs after the UAPTF hearing, when the first language was put out there for ARO, right? A lot of that language still today has not been addressed. But you know what? There's no teeth and there's no accountability for any of the UAP legislation that's been passed to date by Congress. The government does what they want to do. The DOD does. They give out the information they want to give out to. There's no compliance. There's no auditing. There's nothing for these people to go ahead and make sure that the shit they're telling us is the truth, and they're actually following up on what the taxpayers. You know what they all forget, Mike, is they work for us. They may be having their budgets and everything, but that's our money. That's the money given by the taxpayers. But everyone in Congress and the DOD seems to forget that, or even the military industrial complex or the military. It's all about national security. Wonderful about national security, but if you're forgetting about us humans who make it possible for you to worry about national security, shouldn't they be taking care of us first, Mike, since we are the citizens of this country?
Yes, in theory, it's supposed to work exactly that way. It's why we had a revolution. It's why we created this country in the first place from under British rule. But it seems like over 250 years later, we don't have that in place. There are no distinct protections from within the law or the Congress for oversight or runaway projects and research that they've been keeping from us in Congress the entire time, because there is nothing written in the law that would force their hand. Nothing, no forcing function in play. So if that's the case, and they damn well know it, they'll lie right to your face. Because that's what
Lukatsky said. If he was pulled in front of under oath, under Congress, and penalty of going to jail for lying, he said that he would lie about the information he knows about the non-human intelligence and UFOs.
He went so far as to say, as an example, that if they asked him if he ever heard of a Dr. James Lukatsky under oath, he would have said, I don't know, who is that? Right to their face, because legally he knows under national security protections and classifications, he's protected. Yep. He can lie under oath. And there's not a damn thing they can do about it. So that's why they do this. That's why Scott Bray and Ronald Moultrie at the first UAP hearing lied to everybody, but they weren't under oath. It wouldn't have mattered if they were, though, because we know now how it works.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Just to go ahead really quick, I just want to, I know this is my ADD kicking in, but I'm going to go ahead and show it anyway. If you're in Manitoba, this is taken with an iPhone 14 Pro, couple-year-old phone. Go out and look up. Take some pictures and share it with us. Absolutely gorgeous Aurora Borealis going on right now up in Manitoba. So it's one of the things we cover here on a regular basis as part of our science news and everything that's going on. Okay.
Well, speaking of science and news, let's talk about news real quick for a second. What we haven't covered on the show, but we've dealt with in real life going on around us. Let's take a look at the geopolitical stage for a second. It came out the other day that we now see North Korean troops training to go into
No, they're already
Ukraine
there, I think, Mike. They've already been deployed, 10,000 of them.
10,000 of them. So, Thomas, what does that mean on the political stage, the geopolitical stage? We have a rogue nation like North Korea that just also, you and I talked about this on the show the other day, they blew up the main passageway, the roadway between North and South Korea for the first time in 70 years. And now they're sending troops into Ukraine on behalf of Russia. China the other day had military drills that completely encircled the island of Taiwan that our good friend Dr. Tim Taylor is currently located on. What is going on? what does it look like on the world stage where all of this seems to be going? Not in a good place, according to what you and I have been saying,
I
right?
would call that edging towards a World War III. Now, remember, Russia had said if any of the NATO countries go ahead and join in the fight against Russia, Russia would declare war against them. So does that mean if they're bringing in now North Korea, Russia's bringing North Korea in, that we now are going to potentially declare war against North Korea?
No. No, that I know already. Wouldn't matter if they committed acts in Ukraine. The United States would not engage with any foreign country against us in a military action unless they were to threaten U.S. troops, military, or citizens, which I don't see North Korea doing that.
No.
Right. But as far as China invading its own territory over at Taiwan, that could happen.
Oh, yeah.
And look at what's going on between Iran and Israel, and we're right now directly in the line of fire.
And actually,
in Israel.
Russia, Vladimir Putin is about to meet with the head of Iran and talk about that to potentially tie it up and saying, okay, if you're going to attack Iran, you're attacking Russia, and that allows us to go ahead and attack you. Man, it's getting messy, isn't it?
It's getting like a tight noose around the world's neck is getting tighter and tighter every day, which has nothing to do with disclosure or UAP or NHI, but our home, the world we all reside on, it seems to be becoming more and more of a dangerous place every day that moves forward. That's a scary thought.
Yeah, it is.
Because this is real world that we're talking about, not imaginary, not something that's theoretical. This is something that could happen at any minute, any day now. And the other thing that you and I talked about was that why is all this seeming to come to a head right now? Because of what we just mentioned about a lame duck Congress and a lame duck administration. So there's nobody who's, they're asleep behind the wheel.
Yeah. Well, we've got an election coming up, Mike, as part of it.
Right.
And
so they could be thinking if they made a major move, there's nobody really focusing on it in this country that would be able to act. It's a moment of weakness.
Yeah, but I think we've been in the moment of weakness for some time, considering the mental state of our current president.
Unfortunately, that is true.
What happens if this stuff hits at a time where Joe is needing to take one of his mandatory naps? Nothing against that, but it's just a reality of where we're at right now. Not able to make a snap decision that's going to serve things right. And by the way, these are Aurora pictures from last week and current pictures that have been going on from the comet that's been out there. Hopefully, some of you folks have had a chance to see one or the other. But yeah, it's a dangerous situation, Mike. And I'm going to go out there and put my hand out there first and say the alien's not going to come and save us. They're not going to save us from anything. It's up for us to save ourselves.
Exactly. And most people, well, some people are hoping that some advanced civilization will come swoop in and save us from our own stupidity.
Oh, they're not going to save us. They're not going to give us med beds like so many people were going on about because they have health issues and they want to get healed. No, if you have health issues and you have ability to get injection in your eyes or different medical procedures done, get it done. Don't wait for the aliens to come and be able to give you this stuff to save you when you couldn't go ahead and save yourself. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Mike?
I do. I know exactly what you're talking about. But there are a lot of people that fall into that category. And if we're getting into a point where the world is going to become an even increasingly dangerous place and may result in a possible third world war or a nuclear exchange, there's going to be nothing that's going to be saving our asses on this.
Now, wasn't there something that came out in the last day or so where they've talked about that we're deploying the B-2 bomber to go and make some attacks in the Middle East somewhere?
Yemen. They're sending him to Yemen. And as a matter of fact, the other day, those B-2 bombers, they flew over Australia.
Wow.
They're on their way to Yemen in the Middle East. They're flying over Susan.
Yeah.
On their way down to the Middle East. So yeah, if we are putting our troops and our equipment in the line of fire, and there is an exchange, and we get attacked, that could very quickly escalate into something that we're not looking to do. It's a shame, but it could happen at any minute. This could happen. Something could go wrong.
Oh yeah.
Which happens all the time.
Well, how many times do things go right?
Well, Murphy's Law explains that, I think, perfectly.
Yeah.
Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So it's usually the case.
Oh, it usually is, my friend. Tia, you have your hand up, my dear lady?
Yeah. Hey, Mike, did you just feel that little earthquake that we had?
I did.
Okay. I just
It was
wanted
like
to see
a
how
tremor.
you.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
Interesting. There seems to be a lot of seismic activity going around, too.
Well, there's been a lot of activity from the sun. Are you surprised? The kind of solar activity and earthquakes and volcanoes going off are all kind of tied together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, we've talked about that on the show.
Oh, yeah.
The weather changes, the magnetic shield shifting poles.
Well, we've got our magnetic field, which is getting ready to flip, which is causing it to weaken to levels where it hasn't been this way for tens of thousands of years. And got an interesting time ahead, to say the least.
Yeah, it could get a lot worse before it gets better. Plus, we're also in hurricane season right now.
Oh, yeah.
So, big time. And we're not out of it
some,
yet.
and there is more on the way, to say the least.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a fun time tonight in the old town when we start to have weather like this and all of these disruptions. Look what Florida went through. They got hit really hard. So did Tennessee with Burchett is.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't we have, you said the other day.
Hey, Mike, I need to step out for a second. I'm going to give you the floor.
Yeah. Be my guest.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, I mean, the solar activity has been increasing as well. I think it was the other day was what? A wave over 7 on the scale. So it seems to be very interesting where this could potentially be heading.
And as I walk out the door, NASA even came forward earlier this week, to go ahead and say, yes, we've officially entered the solar maximum, which means we've got another year and a half, if not longer, potentially 2 years of heightened solar activity before things slow down. And even when things slow down, it doesn't mean we're out of the woods for huge solar flares hitting the planet.
Exactly. No, that's a very good point. So, Laura, you've been quiet most of the time. Is there anything you want to share with the audience about your readings?
I can share a few things.
Okay.
I don't want to get in trouble. I'll start with, we looked at Michael Schellenberger, and during that interview, he was actually scared. He is scared, so he's very brave in doing this. That was his thoughts. What I will share, I'm not going to say full names of different titles of projects, but I will give you some hints, and I could be wrong. And I'm going to say that there have to be other remote viewers out there that are doing this as well. Of course, I don't want to be in trouble with any security, and this could even be incorrect. But I was surprised. I was thinking that this Immaculate Constellation was a title for other projects like underneath it, like subcategories. But what we got from it was it's just one of other group projects and things. And yes, it does involve crash landings and retrievals. However, it's more of they're categorizing and sending this information. They turn it over after categorizing it to the NRO, which is the National Reconnaissance Office, which I always thought was the one that was finding it. But evidently they're a higher level than the National Reconnaissance Office. And the other strange thing is, I got into the details of this particular constellation, and it's not what I thought it was. And I'm not going to get into too much of it. Maybe in back chat I'll talk about it a little, but I'll break it down. The word immaculate is meant to sound more like the Immaculate Conception definition. Like it just happened and we have no excuse for it. It's not immaculate in terms of it's clean. The word constellation is representing a cluster or grouping of stars being lit up. We were shown the Earth at night, then small lights turned on all over the world in different places at the same time. And that goes into the details of it. The Earth is broken up into sections, and it's based on the equator and the international dateline. These different groups with these names immaculate, let me just say the immaculate word. There's other groups with names besides constellation. I'm not going to say those, but they're in the southern hemisphere. So like if something happens, they can say that is that quadrant where particular things happen, and then they categorize. The top northern hemisphere is broken up also into quadrants, and the word is dynamic, and that's just part of it. And that's as far as I'm going to go with that. But yeah, I'll just show like the lighting up where they're like, that's a crude drawing of the Earth, but those little lights relate to something else. And I will say, besides the crash recoveries, there are other things they're tracking. People.
Oh, wow.
And certain individuals with certain characteristics. And I just assume that abductees or that kind of thing, it's more complicated than that. It's more akin to certain people, they kind of will follow that have certain abilities that are different than other individuals, and they're very interested in that. And it's random. It's all over the world, and it's different families, and it can't necessarily be predicted. Certain countries are not involved in this. Russia, for example, does not partake in that tracking. China does, Japan, Iceland. South America does, but they have a slightly different way to document it. The UK does document, but their documentations are false based on some interference they've had with government, well, individuals within their society kind of messed with it, and it's not accurate. And that's about all I want to share right now.
Awesome. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to say thank you, Laura. That was very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quick thing, Mike. Didn't you have some news we talked about earlier this week about Immaculate Constellation? There was another name for it, possibly, and some other things that it may have had its hand in.
Immaculate Constellation. Well, I told you earlier that the Office of Global Access actually changed their name to Transnational Technology Mission Center in 2021.
Right.
Because, the government always has something secret that they will change and continue to try to hide as time goes on.
Yeah.
So that is what's going on with that story. That was broken initially by Christopher Sharp and Matt Ford and Josh Boswell of the Daily Mail. Right now, well, here's what's interesting about Immaculate Constellation. In the report that was submitted to Congress and Michael Schellenberger, George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell also spoke that they have knowledge when they did that special episode of Weaponized. But what I found interesting is they said that special access, that unacknowledged special access program, not only tracks these UAP using surveillance platforms and satellites, they also said that it uses human intelligence, which has to do with this program's operations into getting information on the UAP.
Mm-hmm.
My question when I heard that was, I could understand satellites orbiting the Earth and tracking objects. What would human intelligence have to do with UAP? That's what I thought was odd and strange and interesting at the same time.
Well, it's observations potentially made by people and not just surveillance platforms, I guess. Either that or dealing with something in the whole woo aspect of it potentially, Mike.
Or it could also be, Thomas, that there are a group or a nation or any type of things that involve human beings or that are organized that have direct knowledge or information about UAP or NHI.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also monitoring that, like the CIA does for foreign intelligence. Same operation, same game plan. Could be that, but it came out about this for the UAP with the Immaculate Constellation. Human intelligence is part of their collection
Stop it, Moose. No.
proceedings. So that means that tells me that there are human beings, not just sensors, with specific knowledge about this that our government is keeping tabs on or monitoring.
That our government is dirty.
Exactly. And they know more about what's going on than we do, and they aim to keep it that way.
All right. I've got to share something with the audience in chat. I'm sharing a YouTube video link. I can't really play the whole thing here on the show because I'll get hit with a copyright strike on it. It is freaking hilarious. And I just shared it in the chat. Bookmark it, watch it later. It is, I don't know how the hell they created it. It must have been something maybe with AI or who knows how they created it, but it is just freaking priceless. It's a take at the whole UFO, actually more like the Bigfoot community, isn't it, Mike?
Humans. You're talking about humans?
Humans. Let's see if I can get this here. Moose, come on, stop it. I'll go get you some snacks, but you can't have any more of these things. There we go.
Anybody that follows this community is going to love this clip.
Oh, God. I'm going to open this with external application, QuickTime. All right. So this thing is called Unanswered Oddities. Unanswered Oddities. And just some of the clips remind me of people, remind me of things that I've seen before in this. I got to figure out a way for us to share this with the audience. This is just hilarious. Desktop, video, full guest. I guess we need to get Rachel Maddow out of the back here. Did I just say that? Yeah, I did. Good, Tom. All right, let's go ahead and let's see. You know what? I'm going to get to, even if I show the TV.
Oddities, humans. Are they real or just a youngling's fairy tale?
Okay. Humans. Are they a youngling's fairy tale? I mean, this just sounds like, you know, you hear of, you watch some of those, you know, shows on History Channel, Sci-Fi Channel. This is Bobo Fugsnuck, who's a hiker.
It was a Tuesday night. I had just gotten home from spitting. I went out for my midnight lurk, you know.
There we go. And he saw humans.
That's when I saw it. It was a human. You could tell by the knees. I've seen them in the historical books.
And they go on and on.
The area for humans, but only found a toothbrush.
Yeah, they got that one. This kind of reminds me of someone, Mike. I don't remember who, but...
Theory is that humanity was wiped off the planet by what were called escalators.
Escalators. Wiped out humanity.
One by one, each human slowly sucked into the moving stairs, taken out by their own dumb invention.
And it just goes on and on. Where's the debunker? This is Tiggy Skibbles, who's a skeptic. Almost reminds me of some of the skeptics we know, Mike.
Real, brother.
Yes. Here we go. Hold on.
Humans ain't real, brother. That's a ruse made up by the monolith to distract us from the fact that they are putting plants in our food.
Oh my God. Ancient human theorists agree. Yes. And there's like 5 episodes. Watch it. I will go ahead and share the link to this in the chat again.
And who do we just hear from? What was his name? Tiggy Greenstreet?
No. Tiggy O'Brien.
There we go.
There we go.
So it was pretty dark, and my eyes were closed, so it's hard to say.
Oh, it just goes on. It's one of those things. Yes. Truth seeker escalators are the human's demise. Yeah.
Yep.
Hopefully I didn't play too much to get into trouble, but my God, go ahead and support these guys. They did an unbelievable job. The name of the show is, the name of the YouTube channel is NeuralViz. Phenomenal work. I mean, I've watched that video like 6 times already, and I'm still laughing my ass off at it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's funny, and especially anyone that follows this community can appreciate the humor in it.
Oh God, yeah.
It's perfect. They did it. They did a really good job. They must know some people that we know.
Yeah, they must.
You would think. They must.
Anyway, happy Friday, everybody. Mike, I think we've about covered everything there is to cover today. I don't know if we got anything left for tomorrow's show at this point.
That's okay. Something will pop. Usually
Something
does.
will pop. Maybe it does.
Yep.
If not, we can re-talk about the same stuff we talked about on Monday and talked about today and talk about it again tomorrow.
That's true.
Yeah.
But we'll see what shakes loose, like we always do.
Yeah.
We'll come up with something.
You
It'll be
better
fun.
believe it, my
This was
friends.
fun. Hell of a conversation tonight, Thomas.
Oh, it's been a blast tonight. It's always a fun time hanging out with the audience. It always pulls me up out of feeling like shit. And I love to laugh. You got to have fun with it. News Nation Lady Whistleblower. Oh, we'll play that tomorrow. Thank you, Fink Floyd, for reminding me of that one. Yeah, I'm sure we can find that one to see what's up there. I thought I had that tag somewhere, but we will go ahead and play that one tomorrow. On that note, let's go ahead and do this. Wow. Sorry for the volume on this one. First of all, I want to thank FaZe Will for your wonderful super chat tonight. Thank you very much, sir. As FaZe Will says, please like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate it. If you had a good time, give us a thumbs up. And if not, give us a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what the heck you waiting for? Would love to have you here as a regular here on Disclosure tonight. More importantly, I want to thank the people in our audience that have been out there today. Who do we have for participants? We have Alien Bug, Clear Glass Studios, L1 Hubbard, Fink Floyd, Firefly, Hides in Long Grass, Jake Knott from State Farm, J-Cat, Kathy, Kelly Broughton, her piercing blue eyes. We miss you tonight, Kelly. King Bull, Pete Liebel, FaZe Will, Terrence Bunce, the Chromosome Cowboy, and the Mac Geek. How about that? Truth Seeker and Two Heads 666. That makes up the majority of our audience. More importantly, I want to go ahead and turn that off and get this going. I want to thank the people in the back conversation that has helped make my job a little bit easier today. Laura Campbell, thanks for coming out today, Laura.
My pleasure as always. Thank you.
None of your business. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Great show as normal.
Moose, stop it. Thank you very much. FaZe Will, appreciate you coming out tonight.
Awesome show, number 1. Thank you.
Thank you. And Tia Loreno, appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Thomas. Awesome show.
Thank you very much. And that, of course, takes us back to Mike, Disclosure. Thanks for coming out tonight, my friend.
It was a lot of fun. Great conversation. Friday night, we had new information we brought out to the public. We had fun doing it, and it was a good Friday night show.
Yeah. And for everyone, just to be clear, we are serious about not being serious here at Disclosure tonight.
Exactly.
Oh, you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. Tiggy Skibbles.
It keeps you from crying. Gotta laugh.
Oh, absolutely. On that note, as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everyone. But
go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. We'll catch you on the flip side. See you tomorrow, everybody. Take care. Y'all come back now. Here. Bye-bye.